Um, Good morning, everybody. Welcome to 1 Million Cups and Benny Safe, featuring Benny the dog, Esther's loving dog, who she says may make an appearance today because he was groomed yesterday. A couple of things before we get started. Make sure that you put your contact information in the chat. Reason being is at the end, as you know, we're recording this, so you get a copy of the recording as well as anything in the chat. So make sure you put any pertinent information in there. And without further ado, Esther.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Dave. I'm happy to be here. So let's talk about Benesafe. Benesafe manufactures, produces, and soon will be selling plant-based, non-toxic insect repellents that are safe for your family, pets, and the environment. So our story, it all started with my dog, Benny. With COVID, we were spending more time outdoors, and that was the only way we could spend time with our friends because of COVID restrictions. So we noticed that in the evenings, there were a lot of mosquitoes around. So we tried personal sprays and candles, and those didn't seem to work. We noticed that the mosquitoes were not only surrounding us, but also surrounding our then puppy, Benny. What we did was we thought of, let's go to Home Depot and Lowe's and try to find something to treat the yard. But we were only able to find products that had toxic ingredients. We wanted to create something that was safe for our dog, Benny, and that's where we came up with Benesafe. It's all natural protection you can trust. What makes us unique? Benesafe is based on plant-based power. All of our ingredients are made from plants. Other things that make us unique besides being plant-based is that we're minority woman-owned. I was born in India and I immigrated to the United States at the age of 7. Benesafe also does not test on animals. We're cruelty-free and we're made in the United States. Actually, we're made here in Allentown, Pennsylvania. So a little background about me. We did do a photo shoot a couple weeks ago. My educational background is in conservation ecology, environmental science, and biology. I've taken a number of classes in chemistry, biology, and I've studied the effects of, chemicals on the environment. Now I want to go over my work history. So my first job ever was in Cleveland, Ohio at the Cuyahoga County Board of Health. I was a mosquito control intern. So I drove around all day treating catch basins around the county. Since then, I've had a lot of different research experiences and internships, mostly associated with the schools that I went to. I've worked at the National Park, city parks, Museum of Natural History, and in Lehigh Valley, I worked at CareerLink as a job developer. Most recently, I am a seasonal educator at the PA State Parks. But I want to point out that my final position has been with Benesafe Solutions, where I'm the owner and founder. And I wanted to bring this full circle. My first job ever in 2010 was in mosquito control. And now, 10 years later, I founded a company that has to do with creating natural products to prevent mosquitoes and other pests from coming around you and in your yard. So what are the problem we're addressing? There are a couple of them. First is mosquitoes. Mosquitoes and other biting insects create an uncomfortable environment for humans as well as pets. There are sprays and other ways to treat your yard. However, they're toxic and are harmful to the environment, pets, and people. Also, if you do hire a pest control company, it can be expensive. They range from $350 to $500 per season of treatment. So our solution is Benesafe. We are creating a plant-based, non-toxic way to treat your yard. You do it yourself. You simply get your garden hose and attach it to the end of the sprayer here. And in less than 5 minutes, you can treat up to 5,000 square feet. So I have outlined some of the directions for using the sprayer. Of course, on the bottle, there's going to be a lot more about the directions, but we suggest that you apply twice between 3 to 10 days to eliminate the full pest cycle. That means from larvae to adult stages of the pest. And repeat application as needed. And as an environmentalist, I'm all about pollinators. It is recommended that you apply the spray when pollinators like bees and butterflies are not actively pollinating. So this is mostly in the evening time. This is a product mock-up. This is how our product might look. And it will be a 32-ounce bottle. And our estimated cost, this is not the final cost, but what we're estimating right now, is for it to be $32.99 per bottle with free shipping. For 2 bottles, we're expecting to possibly sell them at $54.99 plus free shipping. We have free shipping because we want to be competitive with sites like Amazon that offer free shipping to consumers. So our target market, we are targeting people that live in the suburbs, middle class to upper class, with a household annual income of 40,000 plus. Most likely our consumers are families that have at least one pet or one dog or one child. In the Lehigh Valley, there are 250,000 households with this annual income. Mosquitoes and other biting insects are prevalent in Pennsylvania during the summer months into the fall. And really what we're thinking is that anyone who has a yard, who likes spending time outside, can potentially benefit from this product. So there are a few market drivers for our growth. The first is COVID-19. With COVID, a lot more people are working from home, and a lot of businesses are adopting this practice permanently. We are seeing a shift from people moving from cities to suburbs where they have more space to live. And also, because of COVID restrictions, more people are spending time outside. Next is millennials. So millennials are a big part of the country, and right now, they're forming families and buying homes. Millennials are great because most of them have been educated on sustainability, climate change. They are more focused on buying products that are environmentally friendly. Lastly, their health and safety. So overall, the global temperature of our world is increasing. And with that comes an increase in vector-caused diseases like malaria, Zika virus. We think that our product will actually help in protecting against these diseases. So let's talk about sales. In our first year, we want to target at least 500 customers. The way we're doing this is selling on our e-commerce website. We're currently using Shopify. We're doing social media promotions, but our main way is word of mouth. So that's why I'm here today, for you guys to try the product and tell your friends and family about it. For 2022, we're hoping to get into farmers markets and trade shows, and hopefully, we wouldn't have to worry about COVID then. Additionally, we would like to go to local retailers. Our long-term goal is to sell these products nationally on an e-commerce site like Amazon, supermarkets, hypermarkets like Walmart, and then specialty retailers like Chewy, which sells pet supplies. So we do have a social media launch for the spring of 2021. Our website and sales launch is still to be determined. We are currently working on formulating the right ingredients for our product. But this is an example of how our website looks when you will be able to access it. We are offering 10% off your first order with any order, and of course, free shipping. So I would love for you to join Benesafe Solutions. And if you go to our website, benasafesolutions.com, and sign up, you could be the first to know about our launch. You could also like us on social media. We do have Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Feel free to contact me. I've put my phone number, and you could email me at info@benasafesolutions.com. So thank you for letting me present today. I think we have a guest of honor coming in. Here we go. All right, here's Benny, newly groomed. So thank you so much for letting me present. If anybody has questions, now is a great time to ask.
Okay, Esther, we have one question so far, so anybody can put in the chat or we'll just open up the floor. But Al asks, can you target pest companies? And he may have to qualify this, but are you going to target some pest companies to apply your product? Is that right, Al?
That's right.
Okay.
So we are going to approach landscaping companies. We aren't, right now, we're not thinking about pest companies, but that could be a potential customer in the future. So
Okay.
thank you, Al.
Does that answer your question, Al? Before I move to the next one? Okay.
Yeah, I just mentioned my brother had his place sprayed the other day. He hired someone to spray it. So whoever sprayed it used some kind of product, and it would just be a lot simpler targeting companies like that because there's so fewer of them and they use so much of the product. So it just seems like a smart place to target.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
And Gary asked, have you thought about partnering with Pet Fresh? Is that I think
Fresh
that's
Pet?
a food product, or is that a retail store? Gary?
It's a pet food manufacturer in the Lehigh Valley, and they are organic. Um, so they would fit that same mold as environmentally friendly. So it might be something that they might be interested in marketing along with their pet food products.
That's a great idea. Thank you for sharing that.
Okay. They're coming in fast and furious and getting ahead of me here.
I see.
Rita asked, and I guess this is for your Facebook page and your LinkedIn. Can you put links to your business on your personal profile page, all of your social media pages? So just to get the word out.
Yes.
Rita, if you need to qualify that at all.
So Rita, you're saying on my personal Facebook page?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Because there are many of us that are already Facebook friends with you, and we should just be able to link right to your website on your about page, put your website, put your business pages, any way that we can link to you or share your link with others.
Okay, thank you for that.
That's the more important thing, that if Rita runs across somebody that's looking for a product like that, she can just go and cut and paste from your Facebook page. Then Morgan asked, how does your item compare in price? I knew this question was going to come up. In price to the toxic products on the market. So you've done a lot of research, went out and looked at. So how do they compare?
So the product is a little bit more expensive than the toxic products that are out there. However, it is very competitive with the natural products that are currently on the market.
Okay, so if you're looking for the more environmental friendly, this kind of goes into Raj's question. Where do you stand regarding your price point when compared to the competition? You've addressed
It's right on it. Yeah. Most of the competition is between $30 to $40 per bottle. So we're going with $32.99 to make it a little bit more competitive with free shipping.
And do you know at this time who your top competitors are?
Yes.
And who might they be?
So Wonderside is one of our top competitors. They created a spray similar to the idea that we have, and they presented it on Shark Tank like 10 years ago. And so that's a big competitor. They've been there for a while. Then there's a more recent competitor called MDX Concepts, and they've created a similar product as well. However, we believe that our story, our ingredients that are different than theirs, make our product unique and different from their product.
Okay, and then a question, what research have you completed to validate the efficiency of the product, and were there any major findings?
So the research is ongoing. What we've done is use products that have already been used to treat mosquitoes, ticks, and fleas. So we're combining these natural ingredients into our product. So there has been research on toxicity studies, things like that, that prove that the ingredients that we're using are effective.
And we have some positive feedback, great presentation.
Oh, thanks.
Love it, pet friendly, non-toxic, and works to get rid of those pesky mosquitoes. And then somebody is thinking globally now, would you be able to sell this product worldwide? Have you looked into being able to ship worldwide?
So we're looking to just stay in the US for now. I mean, that's our main goal right now. Worldwide is kind of, we haven't got there yet, but right now, like, we're using the EPA approved federal, ingredients. So I'm not sure what the international rules are for the ingredients that we're using.
And then a question, and I think this may have been answered, but maybe not. Does it work on fleas as well? And would you consider developing a topical product in the future?
Yeah, so it protects against mosquitoes, fleas, and ticks. And long term, we would like to create something that's a personal spray that people can use and possibly even use on their pets.
Okay. Another suggestion for your packaging is to partner with TerraCycles so consumers can recycle your package. So it'll be full circle. And I'm sure Nicole will agree with that too, from tinkering. But I don't know.
Yeah, I love TerraCycle. I use that product for my coconut water. However, I'm not sure if, because of the ingredients that we're using, there are restrictions to using TerraCycle for this kind of spray. That's something I'll have to look into. Also, cost is a big factor when using a product like TerraCycle. Maybe down the line we could use, different types of packaging.
Okay. Next question, and there's a lot. I mean, where are you in the product development cycle? Are you ready to go to market? And do you have any regulatory clearances that you might need? And I think you touched on a little bit of these, but maybe you can get a little more specific.
Yeah, so we're currently testing the product, mixing it, and we're not ready to go to market. Our estimate is possibly this summer. The next question was about the regulation. So we are using all minimum risk pesticides that are exempt from the EPA. The EPA has a list of ingredients to use for our product, and we're using those that are on the exemption list.
Okay. Next question is from Sam. How many people do you plan to hire by the end of the year in order to grow? And you might start with how many people you currently have working.
So currently we are a team of 3, looking to keep that team for the first year and possibly growing in year 2. Great question.
Okay. And if I ask any of the questions and you need additional clarifications, just speak up. But as it stands right now, I think I have 11 new messages. What, and this may be proprietary, but what are some of the ingredients? I know most ingredients will be secret, but will there be fragrance in your product?
So I'm not going to reveal the ingredients yet. They will be posted on the label and will be open to the public to see when our website is available too. The ingredients are all natural, so the fragrance is like natural, like essential oil smells.
Okay. Jeff, before he asks some tough questions, he said, great presentation. How do the active ingredients work to repel insects? And are they biologic?
Okay, so what they do is they prevent the cycle of the pest. So if it's sprayed in your yard, it will kill the larvae of the pests. And the biologic part, it is natural. What do you mean by biologic?
Yeah.
Well, more specifically, it would be how does it? What's the toxicity to the insect, and whether it impedes reproduction?
Yeah, so it is toxic to the targeted insects. I'm glad you brought up toxicity because I wanted to talk about that a little. There are studies that show that the ingredients we're using are toxic to the insects, but are non-toxic to, say you live by a river, it's not going to be toxic to the fish in the river. So it's just toxic to the target pests.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question, Jeff. Gary, back into the sequence. You might want to add the EDSI, whatever that is. Gary's a LinkedIn expert, so feature post on LinkedIn with a post about your product launch to give a little more detail, kind of piggybacking on what Rita said about getting the word out.
Yeah, what I was talking about was, right now on your LinkedIn page, the primary post, the featured post is something from your previous job at ESDI.
Oh,
So you might want to replace that with something that announces the upcoming launch of your website and, and the product. And that way you can start generating some interest in your product from professionals who would be more likely to purchase it at this time.
Thank you for that, Gary. I'm definitely going to reach out to you when I do that so you can double check my profile.
Will do.
Thank you.
okay. And then Al said, and you may, I know you've been testing it, but does it work as well as the toxic ones? Do you have any comparative analysis?
So the ingredients in our product should work as well as the toxic ones. However, I will say one thing about DEET. There is no natural ingredient, I believe, that could do what DEET does in terms of eliminating a pest. So I wouldn't compare it to something as toxic as DEET. I would compare it to an off or another type like a cutter yard spray in terms of effectiveness.
Okay, and here's a suggestion from Rita. Talk to Rain, or Rayne, owner of Cold Nose Lodge. She has a retail space at her doggy daycare, and she put the link in. Now keep in mind that rather than jot all these down, you're going to get a copy of the whole presentation
Yeah.
in all your beauty and all the comments and suggestions.
All right.
Uh,
Keep them coming, guys. I love this.
Great presentation. Can you talk about the specific type of ingredients within your product since it's all plant-based? Perhaps some key ingredients that you source from plants. Also, did you work with a chemist or someone else to put this formula together? And I think
All
you have
right.
a background in this too,
I
right?
mentioned the ingredients. Again, all plant-based. I mean, you can look it up too, but we're using things like citronella, cedarwood oil. Those are commonly used as mosquito repellents. So those are just two that I'm saying. And I do have some experience in chemistry. However, I do have a resource that I'm using that has helped me develop the product and the chemistry behind it.
Okay. Uh, did you say you worked with some professionals like chemists and things?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was scrolling down, so I thought I might have missed that. How far are you from bringing the product to market, and what's your initial market strategy? You said that midsummer, but do you have a market strategy for your launch?
Yeah, so midsummer is correct. And we do have a market strategy. My marketing team is on the call right now. We're starting with social media, email campaigning. So right now we're collecting people's emails and promoting through social media. That means Instagram, Facebook, and also have a LinkedIn presence. So we plan on continuing promoting through that. And then, of course, word of mouth marketing as well. We want to start small, start local, and then hopefully grow from there. So we'll
Yeah.
see. Thank you.
And I will tell you, I signed up on our website and I got an immediate response. So you're in the queue right away. Nicole, another organizing committee member, said, along with all her contact information, perhaps reaching out to vets. And initially, I thought it was veterans, but vets, as well as they always have pet-friendly products available for purchase. So that might be part of your marketing strategy. You
Yes.
may have a couple in the queue.
Thank you for that, Nicole. That's a great idea. We'll definitely do that.
Yeah, a lot of great ideas. I wished I had this product.
Oh,
Is this only to be sprayed in the yard, not directly on children or pets, right?
correct. This
Is it
is
clear?
only
Yeah,
for the yard and garden. So around your house, not sprayed directly on kids and pets. And we ask that after you spray, wait until your grass or your lawn is dry before letting your kids and pets out into the yard.
yeah. And Rita, that goes for your grandchildren too. So don't spray it on them. Will you have additionally, she asked, will you have a product to be used to spray on people and pets when they're hiking in the woods?
So that's our goal, is to, start off with this yard spray, then go into personal sprays. So
Good.
hopefully, we will be able, our goal is to develop something like that.
And I talked to you, and then we have a question coming up. Where are you manufacturing this? I think you said in Allentown.
Yep, at my house in the basement. That's our lab space.
Okay. And Anthony, uh, let's talk. I think you might be a good fit for Ben Franklin. Um, and Anthony's contact information's there.
Thank you,
And
Anthony.
when you and I were talking about preparing for this, we talked about the factory, but they may just be food products, but that may be a good place to look to get some thoughts about manufacturing. They house uh, that marshmallow company, and now they're
Stuff
out on their
puffs.
own. Morgan asked, does it harm your grass? How long will the application, do you have to wait before your pet and fit? You already, I think you touched on this. Enjoy
Yeah,
the
so it does not harm your grass. And usually we recommend, waiting until it dries, but that's probably 30 minutes,
uh,
depending on the weather.
Destine, who I heard earlier is in France, so she'll be waiting to get this across the big lake there. How frequently does the product need to be applied for maximum efficiency? How have you done any research on possible negative effects of the long-term use on lawns, common plants? How do you plan on conducting this research? And have you considered creating one that is safe to use indoors as well? So that's a lot of questions. So if you need me to go back through them.
What was the first one?
How frequently do you
So
need
how
to?
frequently is we suggest applying twice within the first 3 to 10 days. So, you have a mosquito problem or a tick problem, apply it, and then within the first week, apply it again and reapply based on the issue, the pest issue that you have. Hopefully, within the first 2, you have the issue under control and have killed, the pest from the larvae to preventing it to go to the adult stage or killing the adults. And the second question?
Was about negative effects on yards and plants. And how do you plan to conduct, how do you plan to conduct this research?
Okay, so great question. And my background is in conservation, environmental science, biology. So this is extremely important to us as a business. So what we're doing is we're using ingredients that have been researched by the EPA. EPA has done toxicity studies, different studies on our ingredients and have proven that they're not toxic to different plants and animals that are not being sprayed. So runoff water, things like that are not going to be, the fish are not going to be affected. Anything that lives in forests or around your house are not going to be affected. What was the last?
And the last one is, I think we touched on a spray for the outside, like when you go on a hike and when you come back. This question is, do you have something that you could put indoors in case those varmints get inside? Ticks in particular, at least from my experience. Something that you could do on the inside.
So that's definitely a potential for having a product that could be used indoors, because in places like Florida too, they get those things all year round, and sometimes they come inside. So that's definitely something we would be interested in doing.
And a question or comment from Samantha, who's next week's presenter, is there's a pet expo at the Allentown Fairgrounds in non-COVID times, that is, I should qualify, would be a good way to get in front of pet lovers, to market your product. And you did mention going to some of the farmer markets and things like that.
Yeah, hopefully by 2022, we will be going to those farm stands and also going to those expos and promoting the product. Thank you for that suggestion.
Yeah. And Nicole is saying you're welcome. Not sure what I'm welcome for or you're welcome for. Lisa said, or I'm sorry, Rita said, lunchbox at Penn State. You and I talked about that. I've even sent you a couple comments. So there's a lot of resources out there, and you're aware of that. So
thank you, Rita.
And of course, Rita's a resource.
Yes.
Mutaza, would it be beneficial for you to collaborate with nonprofits within your industry, such as the Humane Society? That was, from Mutaza.
Yeah, I would love to collaborate with those organizations. Again, with my background, I have a rescue dog too. Like I would love to do that down the line, like work with these organizations and help them.
Okay, and Stacy made a comment, which, as you know, is going to be the last question to you in a few minutes, but she called it Idea Fest. And so start thinking about this, what you need from us, which is always the last question that we ask before we wrap it up. And I think that pretty much Raj said.
Why don't you, Dave, why don't we spend probably, my recommendation is that let's spend the next 10, 15 minutes there might be some direct questions from the audience, and you can just open the floor for them to ask that question directly to Esther.
Okay,
And thanks for the idea, Fest. My number one thing is for you guys to try the product when we do launch, sign up so you can get a notification on the launch. Like us on social media, and then tell your friends and family about the product as well.
okay. I'm going to open it up, but I'm going to also put in case you were late joining, the 1 Million Cups website, and then Lehigh in particular, if you want to see the video or spread the word. So is there anybody that wants to ask the question? Hirsch.
Hi, Esther. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm my
again.
mentor. Oh gosh.
Esther, just a follow-up or a reminder, since we have this opportunity. Thanks for sharing all your work that you've done so far. But have you considered some level of IP protection in terms of either a copyright or a trademark, and eventually perhaps a patent in those order, in that order? Basically, I think it would be well worth the initial effort, since you are entering a kind of a mature market, in the sense that there are products that have been out there for 10 years. You will have competition. So a little bit of effort on that aspect of your invention or discovery or formulation would be beneficial to Benny Safe, I think.
Yeah, so we do want to go that route as soon as we start selling. I did look up the regulations for trademarks, and it under the class that we're going for, we would need to start selling in order to apply for that trademark. From the webinar with Ed Overtree,
Yeah.
he said you need to have a bigger budget and be able to pay for a lawyer to do those steps as well. So we're hoping, by the time we start selling, we will be able to start that process right away as soon as we start selling, and then hopefully in 4 to 6 months get our trademark. Patent right now is something that is extremely costly. Because we're starting out, we're not looking into a patent for the product.
One way to get around this trademark and selling approach is you can sell the product now, but you don't have to sell it to, you can sell it as trial bottles or, for minimal cost, and that would set you off, set the calendar ticking as far as selling it. If you just sell it to 10 of your friends for $1 each or something, that's a sale.
That's a great idea. I didn't even
And you
think of
could
that.
start putting that trademark right from day one. Why wait even for 3-4 months down the road?
Yeah, we're definitely using the TM, and then, on the website, all rights reserved, all of that stuff to protect us for now. But as soon as we start selling, and I love that idea of, selling to friends and then applying,
Yeah,
we will be doing that process for sure, because that's very important to us.
that's
The
great.
other thing about working with your friends is that if you could be out there filming them using the product and then interview them, have you seen a difference? Just talk to them periodically over the course of them using your product and feeling the difference. And, even if you just give the product to a few of your friends in exchange for their feedback, their testimonials, anything like that, and then they'll talk to people and they'll show their videos, because look, I'm in the video. Look, my dog is in the video. That's such an inexpensive way to get the chatter going.
Thank you for that. Yes.
There's a couple of comments, and then Samantha, I'm going to get ready to call on you, and you can read your comment since it's more lengthy. And I think Esther's already contacted Roddy, but Al suggested Inventor Club Worldwide is a good resource. Anthony suggested to talk to an IP lawyer. Most will give you an hour at little or no cost. I would also suggest through Penn State, you can go to their law clinic. I've talked to them about somebody just put that in. There's a law clinic at Penn State, Maine, Drexel, and UPenn. And then Lou said, I believe you can apply for a provisional patent with little expense. So Samantha, you had a suggestion there that's kind of lengthy and you might have to explain a little bit, but I think Esther's already been in touch with Roddy from Friends of Pete. Go ahead, Samantha.
Yeah, so considering your product is pet friendly and all those kinds of things, maybe find a nonprofit that you like to support, that you could partner with and make a donation for every purchase that's made. Like if you've talked to Roddy, that's kind of what he does with his
Yes.
hot sauce products. He donates to Second Harvest and things like that. And for a product in your marketplace where you're trying to attract clients that are eco-friendly, they're also philanthropic. Typically, it helps kind of encourage them, even if it's another dollar or two more to purchase the product, and that dollar goes to those nonprofits. It might be worth upping the price to be able to make those donations, and it helps kind of sell your product in many different ways.
That's a great idea. I just talked to him. He's great. And he told me that. And I thought that was an amazing idea. So thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Doing that is great for your marketing too, because especially when we get to the point where we can do in-person events, because when you set up a co-marketing partnership with a nonprofit, they're benefiting from your mailing list and you're benefiting from their mailing list.
Okay.
And everyone can, oh, it's a big event and everyone's going to bring something that let's say the pet shelter needs. And you're going to be their featured speaker. There's so many ways you can gain momentum from that kind of co-marketing partnership.
The last written comment, and we're going to keep the floor open for a few more minutes before we go into some announcements. But Jill said, fantastic presentation.